I didn't think much of it at the time. That's the strange thing about moments that change your life. They don't feel important when they happen. They don't arrive with warning or weight. They slip in quietly, disguised as coincidence, or instinct, or just doing what feels right. My name is Corn Hale, and at the time, I was nothing special. A salvage pilot, one of thousands drifting along the outer edges of civilized space, picking through the remains of forgotten ships and abandoned stations. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid well enough, and more importantly, it kept me alone. I preferred it that way. The distress signal came from a dead zone. That should have been my first clue to ignore it. The coordinates led to a drifting wreck, half of a transport vessel, its hull torn open like something had ripped it apart from the inside. No power. No life signs on standard scans. Just silence. I circled it once in my ship, the Vera's Run, running deeper scans. Nothing. No heat signatures. No movement. Probably already picked clean, I muttered. Still, there was something about it. Maybe it was the signal, faint, distorted, but recent. Maybe it was curiosity. Or maybe it was just the kind of mistake I was destined to make. I docked. The airlock groaned as it sealed behind me, the interior of the wreck dark and cold. My boots echoed softly against the metal floor as I moved through the corridor, flashlight cutting through the darkness. "Hello?" I called out. No response. I moved deeper inside, stepping over debris, broken panels, the remnants of what had once been a functioning ship. And then, I heard it. A breath. Soft. Barely there. I froze. "Hello?" I called again, louder this time. Silence. Then, a faint movement somewhere ahead. I followed it. The trail led me to a sealed chamber near the rear of the ship. The door was partially jammed, bent inward like something had tried to force its way out. Or in. I pried it open with effort, metal screeching as it gave way. Inside. Her. She was lying against the far wall, barely conscious. At first, I thought she was human. Then I saw her eyes. Too bright. Too deep. Her skin had a faint luminescence to it, subtle but unmistakable, like light was trapped just beneath the surface. And there were markings, intricate, almost symmetrical patterns running along her arms and collarbone. Alien. Alive. Barely. I hesitated. Not because I didn't want to help, but because out here, you learn something quickly. Nothing is ever simple. Helping the wrong person can get you killed, but leaving someone to die, that wasn't something I could do. "Hey," I said, kneeling beside her. "Can you hear me?" Her eyes flickered open. They locked onto mine instantly. Sharp. Focused. Even in that state. "You," she whispered. Her voice was faint, but clear. "You're not from this ship," I said. "No," she replied. "Can you move?" She tried. Failed. "Not yet." I sighed. "All right," I said. "Then we're doing this the hard way." Getting her back to my ship wasn't easy. She was lighter than she looked, but not by much. And the corridors were unstable, sections collapsing, debris shifting with every step. At one point, the entire structure groaned, metal bending under stress. "Of course," I muttered. We barely made it out before part of the ship gave way, tearing itself apart into the void. I sealed the hatch behind us, dropping her gently onto the med bed. "Let's see what we've got," I said. The scanner flickered to life, struggling to process her biology. "Unknown physiology," it displayed. "Yeah, figured," I muttered. Still, it gave me enough to work with. Internal damage. Energy depletion. Some kind of toxin in her system. I didn't understand half of it, but I knew enough to stabilize her. "Don't die on me," I said under my breath as I worked. Her eyes opened again. "You chose to help," she said quietly. I glanced at her. Didn't seem like much of a choice. She studied me. It always is. I didn't respond. I just kept working. She recovered faster than I expected. Within a day, she was sitting up. Within 2, she was walking. By the 3rd, she was watching me, not in a threatening way, just observing. You're staring, I said at one point. You're unusual, she replied. I snorted. Not really. You are, she said. You risk yourself for a stranger. That is not common. I shrugged. Maybe I'm just stupid. She tilted her head slightly. I don't think so. Her name was Elora. At least, that's what she told me. She didn't say much else about herself. Not at first. But I didn't press. Out here, everyone has secrets. What mattered was that she was alive, and that she needed somewhere to go. Where are you headed? I asked. She hesitated. Home, she said. Coordinates. She gave them. I frowned. That's deep territory, I said. Not exactly welcoming. I know. You sure you want to go back? She met my gaze. Yes. Something in her tone. Final. All right, I said. Your call. The journey took days. And during that time, we talked. Not just about where she came from, but about everything. Her people, my past, the galaxy. She asked questions most people didn't. Not about trade routes or profit, but about choices. Why do humans help others? She asked once. I thought about it. Not all of us do, I said. But you did. Yeah, I admitted. Why? I shrugged. Because it felt wrong not to. She was quiet for a moment. Then, that is rare. I smiled faintly. I'm starting to hear that a lot. We reached her system at the edge of a nebula. The moment we crossed into it, everything changed. Ships, dozens of them, surrounding us instantly. Weapons locked. This is restricted space. A voice echoed through the comms. Identify yourself. I raised my hands instinctively. Name's Corn Hale, I said. Independent pilot. I've got a passenger requesting. Stand down, Elora said softly. I looked at her. You sure about that? Yes. She stepped forward, activated the comms. This is Elora, she said. Silence. Then, everything shifted. Weapons powered down. Ships repositioned. Your Majesty, the voice said. I blinked. You're what? I muttered. Elora didn't look at me. Escort us in, she said calmly. Yes, Your Majesty. I stared at her. Slowly. You want to explain that? I asked. She finally turned to me. Her expression calm. I am their queen, she said. I laughed. Then stopped. Because she wasn't joking. You're serious, I said. Yes. I ran a hand through my hair. Of course you are, I muttered. The palace was unlike anything I'd ever seen. Massive, radiant, alive with energy. And everywhere we went, people bowed. To her. Not to me. Definitely not to me. You could have told me, I said quietly as we walked. You didn't ask, she replied. That's not how that works. She glanced at me. Would it have changed your decision? I hesitated. Then, no. She smiled faintly. Then it was not important. Days passed. I stayed as her guest, still trying to process everything. You saved the queen, one of the guards said to me. Yeah, I said. Didn't exactly plan that. You changed everything, he said. I didn't feel like I had, but apparently, I had. The truth came soon after. She hadn't just been injured. She had been attacked, targeted, an assassination attempt, by someone within her own system. They will try again, she said. Then you should stay somewhere safe, I replied. She shook her head. A queen does not hide. I sighed. Figures. When the attack came, I was there, not because I had to be, but because I chose to stay. The palace erupted into chaos. Explosions. Shouting. Guards rushing to defend. And through it all, she stood. Calm. Unshaken. But they got close. Too close. A weapon discharged. And, in that moment, everything slowed. I didn't think. I moved. Stepped in front of her. The impact hit hard. Pain exploded through my chest. I fell. Distantly, I heard her voice. Corin. Darkness closed in. I woke up later. Alive. Barely. She was there. At my side. You should not have done that, she said softly. I managed a weak smile. Yeah, I said. I'm starting to think that too. Her eyes softened. You saved me, she said. Guess we're even now, I replied. She shook her head. No, she said. We are not. Time passed. I healed. And when I was finally ready to leave, she walked with me to my ship. You could stay, she said. I looked at her. A queen inviting a salvage pilot to stay? You are more than that, she said. I smiled. Maybe, I said. But I think the galaxy still needs people like me out there. She nodded slowly. Then go, she said. But know this. I paused. What? You are not forgotten. As I lifted off, I looked back at the palace. At the world I had almost never seen. At the queen I had saved, without knowing who she was. And I realized something. Sometimes, the smallest choices become the biggest moments. And sometimes, saving a life means changing your own forever.